It's Drew here from Drew's Crochet, and as you can see in today's video I want to show you how to make our friendly ghost. Now he's not very big, he fits into the palm of my hand, but he's very lovely, just as a decoration or perhaps a keychain in the spirit of Halloween. Now as you can see, he is really simple to make. He consists of head, body and just 2 arms. So if you're ready, let's get started. So starting with his body, we want to start off by making a magic ring. And into that magic ring, we want to put in 6 single crochets. That's quite simple. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now, having done that, we just pull that 2. This will be the top of his body. Now, in the next round, we want to double that up to 12 stitches. So that simply means increasing in every stitch. So you want to do 2 single crochets into every stitch of the previous round. So I'll come back to you when I've just done round number 2. Okay, that was the increasing round number 2. I've just pulled the central piece in, so we've got no hole. Round number 3, as you might expect, is simply increasing from 12 stitches to 18, which means all you have to do is increase a stitch, which is 2 into 1 stitch, and then 1 single crochet. And you want to repeat that 6 times around the round, as it were. So you could do, let's say, increase 1 and single crochet 1. And you want to repeat that 6 times in total for the whole round. And I'll come back to you in round 4. Okay, so you should have a circle now about this size. This round we're simply increasing to 24 stitches in the round. Now you might want to start this with your stitch marker so you know where you started. So all you do is put your stitch marker in, and then in the first stitch we're going to simply increase a stitch. So that will be 1 and 2. Then you're going to single crochet 2 more. That's all it is, just 2 more, 1 and 2. Now you want to do that another 5 times around the round, so you come back to your stitch marker, and at the end of the round you'll have 24. Now that's as large as we want to make our friendly ghost body. So then you want to do another 6 rows of just single crochet going round, and then you'll start to get the curve of his body. And I'll meet you back here when you've finished that last row. So you want to increase to 24 stitches and then do another 6 rows of single crochet. And I'll meet you back here then. So we've just done 6 rows of 24 stitches round, and you should have something that looks a bit like this. Okay, so the next round is we now want to start reducing our body, go down into the wisp at the bottom. So we want to decrease from 24 stitches to 18, which simply means you want to do a decreasing stitch, which is a simple invisible decrease like that, followed by 2 single crochets, and you want to repeat that 6 times in total for the whole round. Okay, and once you've done that, I'll come back when we finish this next round. So that's a decrease, 2 single crochets repeated 6 times on this round. So we have just decreased down to 18 stitches in our round, but now we want to start going at a slower rate to get a nice sort of like contoured shape. So now we want to go down to 15 stitches in the next round, and that will mean that we want to decrease a stitch and then do 4 single crochets, and we're going to repeat that 3 times in the whole round. So to do that, let's start off. This is what I forgot to do with the last round. Use your stitch marker because it will be so much easier to know that you've actually got that round correct the last time that you did it. So put your stitch marker in. I'm guilty of not doing last time. I apologise. Okay, so the first stitch in the next round will be a decreasing stitch. So that's just decrease like that. Bring it through and as you would a normal stitch. Now you want to single crochet 4 stitches. So it's just 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then you want to repeat that 2 more times for this round to bring down your total stitches to 15. So just do that 2 more times. So decrease and then do 4 more, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this round. Now we have 15 stitches, and before we go any further, now might be a good time to start stuffing the body just a little bit. Don't have to do too much, but just so before the hole gets too small to put a lot in. Right, so that should be enough for the time being. Just starts off the body shape. Now the next row that we want to do, we want to reduce it to 12 stitches. So it's just making it a tiny bit smaller each time. So the way to do that is put your stitch marker in as such. Now what we want to do is we want to decrease 1 and then we simply single crochet 3 stitches after that, and for the whole round we repeat that 3 times. So as we did last time, we decrease 1, but this time we single crochet 3 stitches. 1, 2, sure that's in the right place, and 3. And by the time we end this round, when we repeated that 2 more times, we'll have 12 stitches in the round. And I'll meet you back again when you finish that round. Next round, we'll be carrying on decreasing each round, and we want to go from 12 stitches down to 9. Now if you think you need a bit more stuffing, put some more stuffing in, just to keep it topped up. So get your finger in there. That's good. So this time, to go from 12 to 9 stitches, let's put our stitch marker back in. This time we want to decrease 1, but we will only be doing 2 single crochets after each decrease, and you want to repeat that 3 times in the row. So it's simply an invisible decrease followed by 2 single crochets like so, and repeat that 2 times more. Once you've done that, repeat it twice round to get round to the other end. So now we've decreased to 9 stitches in the round. You might want to take a last bit of stuffing and put it in through the hole while you still can, just to give the body a bit more body. Yes. Okay, so in the next round we are going to just decrease 1 stitch to make it 8 stitches. So that is very simple. We just do 1 single decrease at the beginning and then simply single crochet around 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 more will make 7. And yes, I know I didn't put in my stitch marker again. Okay, so now we have 7 stitches and we're getting very near to the end now. You can see it's curling around nicely. All we need to do now is we want to decrease our next round to 6 stitches, which simply means we decrease 1 and then single crochet 2 stitches, and we repeat that twice in the round. Okay, so if you want to put your stitch marker in, and what we're doing is we're decreasing 1 and then single crocheting 2, repeating it twice in the round, and I'll meet you back when you've done that round. So now we're getting near the end of the body. We have 6 stitches in our round, and we just want to just to finish it off, we need to do 1 more round of 6. But before you do that, If you think your stuffing is too far up in the body, just put the hook in there a bit and bring the stuffing down so it's sort of like it's spread out across the body inside, and then it fills it up beautifully inside. So for our last round in the body, all we want to do is we want to just single crochet round, and then we'll be able to shape it as we go. Okay, so having finished all the rows that we want to do for our body, we simply cut the end off the wool, pull that through. Now we want to finish off the end of the hole, obviously, but before you do that, if you think the body isn't stuffed to how you want it, to how it's where the stuffing is, you just insert your hook again and bring it down slightly, so you pull the stuffing nearer the end, just like that, until you're happy with it. Then you can see what it's going to look like when the body is actually closed off at the bottom, and we'll be able to curl that round to make his tail rather nice. Just like that. You don't want it too much, but can you see that it'll curl beautifully at the end. So now we want to thread a needle. Just get a normal darning needle, blunt needle basically, big enough to hold the wool. Thread it on. Now you want to catch each stitch, the outside of each stitch as you go round, and then simply, once that's done, have to be two. We'll try and get each stitch. We know we've got 6. Okay, now pull it together and then simply go down the middle of it and bring it out to one side. I'm losing it there. There. Okay, so that will finish that off nicely. Then you want to secure that end so you know that it's not going to come apart anytime soon. It's very simple. You just put it through. You can actually secure it to a stitch if you want, like that, and then put the end back in and then just cut it off so you can't see it, like so. Okay, so now this is our friendly ghost body. It's not too hard, it's quite simple, and you just want to make the tail so it looks like a nice little wisp, just like so. And so next we're going to do his arms and then finally his head. Now if you want to know the pattern that we've just done, I'm going to be putting that up next. I'm going to write it across so you'll be able to see the pattern, and if you want to, just pause the video and take it from the pattern there. I'll see you next for his arms. So we're looking at making arms for our friendly ghost. That's his body. We want to make 2 arms. Now I'm going to do this quite quickly because we want to get on to the head. So what we want to do is, I've made a magic ring here with 6 stitches in it again, like we did before. But this time on our second round, we want to increase the round to 9 stitches. So all that means is, increase 1 in the first stitch, and the second stitch is just a single crochet. And you want to repeat that 3 times around, which will give you 9 stitches. Now once you've got 9 stitches, you want to continue doing the next 4 rounds with just single crochet. That's all it is, single crochet. And when you get there, I'll meet you back here. Once you've finished increasing to 9 stitches and then crocheting another 4 rows, you want to stuff this arm so it's nice and round. Just not too much stuffing, but just so it just fits in there nicely. And then all we need to do to finish off the arm is to reduce our stitches back down to 6, which all that means is a decreasing stitch and then a single crochet. And you want to repeat that 3 times around in the row. And then that is 1 arm finished. Now you'll need to make another arm exactly the same way, so then we can stitch them on to our body. So I just finished my second arm, and it occurred to me that I hadn't told you to leave a long tail once you've finished off your arm, so you can actually sew it onto the body wherever you feel you need to. You see that? So we've got 2 long tails and we can sew on our arms. Okay, next up is the pattern for the arms. Okay, so for the head of our friendly ghost, we're going to start at the very top with his wisp. So then we can come down and gradually get bigger and eventually leave a long tail to sew onto his body at the end. Okay, so let's start off with a magic ring. But this time, instead of doing 6 stitches, we're only going to do 4 stitches into the top of the magic ring. Basically because he needs a smaller start off for his wisp. So first of all, let's do 4 into here. Right, that's 4. So now we need to do another 3 rows with just the 4 stitches in. So you just need to do 3 more rows of 4 stitches, and I'll meet you back here when you've done them. This might be a bit tricky, so take it slowly so you know which stitch you're going into, because when it's only 4, it's quite tricky to start off and keep going. But persevere with it. See, so that's 2. And once you've got like it going, it starts to get a lot easier. But try and do it in a good light so you can see where you're going and you don't pick up any extra bits of wool that you shouldn't. Okay, so this will be the 4th stitch in the first round. Okay, and you can see, just keep going for another 2 rows after that, and I'll meet you back here when you've done that. Okay, so having finished our 3 rows of 4 stitches around, the next row is we want to increase to 6 stitches, which simply means increase in the first stitch, like so. Then all you do is a single crochet. Then repeat that again to come back round to the beginning. So repeat, increase, 1 and 2, and then a single crochet. So now we've got 6 stitches in our round. So we're nice getting the top of our wisp and it's getting bigger. Our next row is again going to increase to 9 stitches from 6. So again, that is increase in your first stitch, then do a single crochet, and you want to repeat that 2 more times in the whole round. So that will be, let's get the wool, that will be increase in the next stitch, like so, 1 and 2. Then we want to do a single crochet and repeat for the last time for this round, increase and a single crochet. Okay, so now in our round we should have 9 stitches, and it's gradually getting bigger and bigger. Now our next round again is we're going up in smaller increments than normal, but we want to go from 9 stitches to 12 stitches. So that simply means increase in the first stitch, then do 2 single crochets, and you want to repeat that 3 times in the whole round. So that's 1, and we want to do an increase with 2 single crochets after it again. That'll be our second repeat, and our last repeat, increase and increase, going too quick, increase and then 2 single crochets. Right, so now we have 12 stitches in our round. So the next one is going to be more like a normal increase, so we're going from 12 stitches to 18. So that will simply mean an increase, then a single crochet, and you want to repeat that 6 times around. So you go from 12 stitches up to 18. And when you've done that, I'll meet you back here. Right, so once you've got 18 stitches in your round, you want to do that row 4 more times with just single crochet. So this time I recommend putting in your stitch marker before you start, so you know where you finish and start each row, and then simply single crochet round for 4 rounds. And once you've done that, I'll meet you back here to how to finish the head off. So now you've finished the 4 rows of 18 stitches per round. That is the height of our head. Now our next round will be to decrease our stitches down to 12. So before we do that, you might want to get a bit of stuffing and push it in there so we can start to stuff the head. Try not to stuff this wisp too hard, because we want to be able to bend it over at the end to make it look nice and wispy. So put what you think will be good in there before we now decrease to back down to 12 stitches, which is really simple to do. You just need to do a decrease in the next 2 stitches and then a single crochet. Now you want to repeat that 6 times for the whole round, and once you get back to there, I'll meet you back here for the end of the head. Okay, so for the final round of our head, it just means we want to reduce it from 12 stitches down to 6, which is simply doing 6 decreasing stitches, which is extremely simple. Now once you've done that, remember to leave a long tail so you can actually sew the head onto the body once we've finished. Now next up, I'll put up the written pattern for the head so you can follow it on a written pattern if you prefer. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to do the face of our friendly ghost, because this video is getting quite long. But we'll put them all together and then I'll show you how to do the face in the next video. So now we've got all the parts we need for our friendly ghost. All you have to do is sew them together. Now you might want to pin the places where you want them to be. So say you've got the head just where you want it on top there, and you've got his wisps the right way round. Just stick a pin in him so his head is where you want it to be, and then simply with the tail that you've left, sew round. Now for the arms, you'll know intrinsically where to put them, but I personally like to put them so they're sticking up. Looks more like a ghost, like so. But you can see round about the 4th row down on the body, I find is the best place for the arms to go, and then you can give them a little oomph sticking up like that. And then once you've sewn those on by using the needle and the tails we've left, in the next video I'll show you how to embroider his face.